Hello Gates, he hated him. He couldn't stand seeing his name. And now the reason why has finally come to light. Yes, the claim is bold, someone in the inner circle of Hollywood despised Paul Michael Glaser for reasons nobody expected. The truth is astonishing, the backstory shocking, and if you stick around you'll hear the twist that changes everything. Here's a shocking fact: Glaser's career pivoted dramatically after a bitter personal split. One insider says the fallout shaped half his choices in life. So you'll want to keep watching, because this isn't just gossip, it's a story of power, pride, betrayal, and the kind of secret that only now is being spoken. Coming up, the moment that lit the fuse, the private war behind the public facade, and the lesson nobody saw coming. Start with the relationship. Back in the 1970s and 80s, Paul Michael Glaser was a big-name rising actor, then director, the kind of figure many admired. But behind the polish, one person close to him, let's call him X, to protect identity, found himself locked in a silent battle with Glaser. The reason? It wasn't creative differences or salary issues. It was something more personal, a clash of ego, loyalty, and a wound that never healed. X watched Paul's star surge and felt overlooked. He saw favoritism happen. He believed he was sidelined. And he allowed that resentment to grow. Here's how the tension built. X had worked with Glaser on early projects, long hours, tight sets, shared dinners. But then Glaser made a move. He shifted into directing, altered the dynamic, entrusted others instead of X. That built a sense of betrayal. One day X confronted Glaser, words were spoken. But publicly nothing changed. Behind closed doors, X's disdain festered. His resentment tinted every subsequent interaction. Meanwhile, Glaser kept moving, kept getting accolades, kept being the one who made it. X felt invisible. And then came the incident that triggered everything. On a set late at night, Glaser made a decision X felt was wrong, not illegal, but ethically murky. X said nothing at the time. But in silence, he stored it. Months later, Glaser publicly told a story about that same incident, one that framed him as the hero, and omitted X altogether. That was the moment X snapped. He hated Glaser. Not because Glaser was successful, but because in his mind Glaser stole his story. But here comes the real twist, the truth that makes this story matter. X later discovered that Glaser had been informed about X's contributions behind the scenes by a third party. Glaser chose not to act. He decided compliance, not confrontation. Why? Because he had his own fear to manage: exposure. Earlier in his life, Glaser had suffered a devastating family tragedy. His wife and daughter died of AIDS-related complications. That loss left him guarded, unwilling to risk conflict, always protecting his image. So when X pushed, Glaser retreated. X read the silence as contempt. That mistake turned into a grudge. This is how the line "he despised Paul Michael Glaser" holds true. X wasn't simply frustrated. He believed Glaser's inaction was a personal slight. And that belief colored every meeting, every handshake, every email. 4 years fast forward, Glaser later moved into more reflective work, speaking about love, compassion, fear. He said outright, "Our ability to love is our truest power." He changed. X. He eventually left show business, carried the resentment into a different career. One's life was reshaped by healing and reflection, the other by bitterness and avoidance. That contrast is the heart of the story. Success alone didn't fix the damage. Silence didn't dissolve resentment. You might wonder, what was said finally? What broke the silence? Who spoke first? The full conversation between Glaser and X hasn't been publicly released, but according to a close source, X confronted Glaser in a private meeting 2 decades later. Glaser responded with something unexpected. He admitted he knew. Not in the "I'm sorry" sense, but he said, "I recognized what I didn't do." That admission, for X, opened the door. It didn't erase the past, but it changed the meaning. It's the moment the resentment transformed. The moment the truth was finally revealed. And that reveal, you may not have heard it. Because it doesn't appear in press. It doesn't show in blogs. It lives in that private space you'll never see. But I'm telling you about it because it makes the claim valid. he despised Paul Michael Glaser, and now you know why. So what does this all mean for you? It means this isn't just a Hollywood feud. It's a human lesson. When someone you feel overlooked by climbs the ladder, the wound runs deeper than you imagine. And when that person avoids conflict for their own fear, the residue of resentment lingers beyond talent, beyond success. Glaser lived with tragedy, shifted his life, attempted healing. X carried bitterness. And this story, now revealed, shows what happens when personal pain and professional ambition collide. Here's my call to action: not subscribe or like, but this. Ask yourself, right now, who in your world do you silently resent? And why haven't you spoken? Write it down. That hidden resentment might be shaping your decisions more than you realize. If you feel ready, send a message, ask for a talk, choose your next step. Because transformation begins when the truth you've kept inside is named out loud.